Welcome to Front Engine Dragster Life in the Shop. This is part 2 of the 88 Ford steering column fiasco. In the first part of this video, you saw me running the wires for the new signal light switch. All these wires to the column, and then I had to stop. And after further inspection, I found that the steering lock actuator was broke. Very common problem on these Ford trucks. As you can see, broken. The rod here that runs down to the neutral ignition switch on the top of the column. Alright, so now there's some videos on the internet talking about grinding the housing and all this stuff to get the broken piece out. Well, you still have to get it back together, and the long piece, the new actuator will not go through here. Alright, so I'm not going to show you, I'm just going to explain it to you because I've already put this back together. But this will come apart. You just have to disconnect the steering column from just out inside the engine compartment, slide the whole inner shaft out. But of course, first you have to take the steering wheel off, take the signal light switch out, take the lock cylinder housing off, drop the column down a little bit so it's a little easier for you to get to these bad boys right here. Now these are what hold this assembly to the steering column. See, they fit, not the best light here, but you have two that go on the bottom and one that goes up top, off-centered a little bit. They hold all this together. There's three of them. Works really good. It's good. It's a good arrangement. Now this truck did not have a tilt steering, as you can tell by the housing. There's a place right there for the caution, the hazard light switch, and the signal light switch, but not for the tilt wheel. However, Ford, apparently, I did not know this, they put the tilt wheel mechanism in pretty much all their columns. Pretty interesting. Anyways, you do have to take this apart because you're not going to get this whole entire new actuator to slide through up here. I couldn't figure out a way to do it. I mean, I've done this job a bunch in the past, but you see, that thing is pretty long. So what you do is take apart your tilt steering mechanism. I'm not going to show you, I'm just going to tell you. Explain it. First thing you got to do is knock this pin out right here. It will come out. Use a center punch, whatever it is you're comfortable with. Knock it out, and that will release the spring down inside there. It's right in there, and there's a spring. Now, okay, so you're not done yet. Go ahead and take your two Phillips head screws out for your gear selector. This is where the gear selector stick on the side of the column works. Take that off so you don't damage it. I mean, this is not an easy job, but it's not a hard job. So if you can keep from making mistakes, the more stuff you get out of your way and possibly damaging, you'll thank yourself later. Take off your little loop here. You'll see that the signal light wires go through there. And then when you're ready, take these two little clips off right here. You've got one there and one there. They just pop right off. Alright, and then you can slide this arm out. Lay all this stuff in where it goes now, because there's a lot of pieces here. You will need to take out the snap ring. I'm trying to focus here. You will need to remove the snap ring here. So you need a pair of snap ring pliers. And then once you do that, you might have to tap a little bit somewhere gentle to crack to pop this bearing out. You can take like a little dentist pick. It's pretty strong, you know, pretty stout, and you can pry it out in these two holes right here. Take your time, don't damage the bearing unless you need to replace the bearing. Alright, and then inside here, you can't see it now, but you have another bearing. Alright, don't worry about that one right now. Next thing you want to do is take a long center punch. This is a pick, but I'm going to show you. And you want to be able to get these jokers here out. They do knock out from the inside, so you'll have to come in at an angle. I don't know if you can see it, but right in there is the one for that side. Knock it out. Don't knock it all the way out. And then do the other side. Once again, don't knock it all the way out. Reason being is because when you do, that spring right there is under quite a bit of pressure. Okay? And chances are, when you take this little arm off right here, you're going to forget that that is spring loaded right there. There's a spring down in the housing here. So if you leave that in there accidentally after you take this off, and then you're not prepared, you will lose that. So for you guys that do have a tilt column, you need that. Alright. And then you just take it apart, and then at that point, this separates from this. This is all one unit. That's a separate unit. That big bearing, inspect that, make sure it's not seized up. It's got plenty of grease on it. And then you will have these two halves apart. At that point, you can put your new actuator in. Alright? Okay, so then you just do everything in reverse order, and then you'll end up with that. But don't grind on the unit, because if you grind it, then you grind it down inside there, you get this whole pot metal shavings down inside the U-joint right here. You just get it everywhere. And like, I went ahead and cleaned everything and repacked the bearings, so this unit here is ready for assembly. Now, when you're putting this back together, I'm going to try to do it because I want you to see what you're going to be faced with. Alright, that should be close enough. Now you go back out here underneath the hood. I'm going to try to show you. See that little red thing sticking out right there? That's a bushing. And that little sucker will don't damage it, because you need it. So what you got to do is you got to keep messing with it, fiddling with it till you get it to cooperate to where the column will slide back through. Now this is where it's going to be handy to have a buddy or your wife, your girlfriend, just another pair of hands, because as you're sliding the steering column shaft through the housing, you need somebody to hold this and line it up so it goes together. Alright, you don't have to, but if you do it by yourself, chances are you're going to have to disconnect it down at the steering box. Alright, well, I hope this video helps some of you guys that are new to this type of thing. You can do it yourself if you're pretty handy with tools. If you're scared of the tools, or as we call it, nervous with the tools, well, maybe you better have a shop do it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this helped you out. Okay guys, go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and give this one a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I do read comments. So okay, well, thank you.